Wednesday here at the Westgate. You know what that means? Time for another edition of Westgate Wednesday's Meetup game. 2-5 no limit hold'em. Looking forward to this one, episode 2, round 2, battling with some of you fine vlog watching folks, getting together here. Should be a pretty fun game. Gonna play for, I think, 5 hours is what we're gonna shoot for, and then happy hour after that. But before we get into that, I have to recap a few days, handful of days here in Las Vegas on the grind. Mostly at the Bellagio, as usual, hopping into 5-10 games. Tough to remember all these nights. These recap videos are for sure helpful for me getting into poker games and playing enough hours, playing those longer sessions and not have to kick out a video after every single session. So that's, like I said in the last video, it's definitely been helpful. Now I just have to remember which day was which. We were in there on a Saturday night, we were in there on a Sunday, Monday. All right guys, a rough start to the session here at the Bellagio. I put the straddle on in this hand. There is an early position raised to 70. There's a middle position 3-bet, $240. As mentioned, I'm in the straddle and I look down at pocket kings. Time for a 4-bet, I think. So I make it $580 to go. The initial raiser folds and the 3-better thinks for a while and then he decides on a call. There's only about $800 or $900 left effective heading into the flop. That flop comes down Jack 10-4 rainbow. Since my opponent only has somewhere around a pot size bet left, and considering that I might take an aggressive line on this exact flop with ace king, an ace king or ace queen type holding, I decided to take that same aggressive line and just jam all in there. I know I can get called by pocket queens and maybe some other non-believing pocket pairs. My opponent snap calls and the board runs out brick turn and an ace on the river. I show my hand and he shows Jack 10 of hearts. So he flops 2 pair. We can't improve. Stuck city here, early going. Back to battle. Riding the waves as per usual. One piece of good news, somebody gave me a piece of chocolate. Good news, bad news situation apparently here at the Bellagio thus far. Hoping things turn around here during the session at some point. I bet $55.
That was over the line.
Call.
Oh yeah.
Here, I got you. I got you.
That.
Check.
You normally call it, right? You call him out. I see that. I don't know. I need to meet it,
That might be a tell, I'm not sure.
All in.
You guys want in?
We got Benton in the tank.
Drink.
That's a win no matter what.
It's good.
Putting the screws to him.
You're supposed to have aces, right?
That's in the range for sure.
You sure? Oh my gosh. I hope I get bluffed. Hey, can I see the phone?
You can see the recording after the.
Oh, he's too good.
Wow.
He's too good.
Easy.
Just wrapping up the session here at the Bellagio on a Tuesday morning, almost said Monday night. Obviously it's morning here once again. Pretty fun session. Had some guys from the Hand History Lounge in the game, as well as the famous Brad Owen himself, also in the game. Hand of the night, opened up pocket jacks from under the gun, playing 7 or 8 handed, make it 30 to go. Pulls to the big blind and puts in a 3-bet and he makes it 80 to go. I decided to call. Usually big blind versus under the gun is a pretty snug range. So I decided a flat call. We go heads up to a flop of Jack 10-7 with 2 hearts. Pretty favorable for the pocket jacks. Flopping top set here. The big blind puts in a C bet. Pretty sizable C bet. He bets $200. I'm disconnected this wet of a board. I think I'm gonna put in a raise here. Try and get some extra money in. I make a small raise just because the board is so connected, so wet. Lots of cards that could kill any action here. So I make it $420 to go. Don't think my opponent will be able to get away here with a good hand for that sizing. So he does make the call. We see a 7 on the turn. So we fill up right away. He checks it over to me and I decide to feed him a little rope. Down bet it here. I bet $280 here on the turn. Once again, he makes the call. River is a great card. It's a total brick, shouldn't change anything. Checks it over to me again, and I have about $1,000. I decide to not bet quite all of it, just to not scare off my opponent too much. I bet $850, a little bit less than all in. He doesn't think too long and he makes the call. So good news, scooping this pot, and pretty good size one here. Good session, good pot early on. Always helps making top set, turning into the nut boat. Good hand there, leads into a pretty good session. In for 1,500, didn't have to reload for a single dollar. Cash out for just about 3,500 for a profit of $2,000. And just like that, 5 tables of 2-5 no limit hold'em running at the Westgate here, plus 1 table of 1-2 no limit. Once again, I'm not sure we get credit for that one, but 5 tables of 2-5 going, awesome crowd, awesome turnouts. Gambling, we're gambling at the Westgate.
Two England. 2 Americans.
Cheers, guys.
Raise them up.